What if I told you that the Jal Jeevan Mission in Manipur has become one of the biggest scams in the country? It began with a promise, made not in a press room, but from the ramparts of the Red Fort. On the morning of the 15th of August 2019, the Prime Minister of India spoke to the nation and said, "In the next 5 years, we want to ensure that every household in India gets piped water supply. The Jal Jeevan Mission will ensure that no Indian has to walk long distances or stand in queues for water." The slogan was Har Ghar Jal, water in every home. It was more than a policy statement. It was a renewal of an ancient covenant. That life in its purest form should reach every household. And from that moment, the Jal Jeevan Mission was born, a national effort to ensure that by 2024, every rural household in India would have access to a functional tap connection. A 5-year plan. Rs3 5 lakh crore investment announced, and one simple dream, that no child should walk miles to fetch water, no mother should wait by the well, and no village should remain thirsty in the century of development. Because water is not just a resource, it is a right, a rhythm, and a reminder that the story of progress begins with a single drop. But while the vision was national, its execution depended on the states. And in Manipur, something went terribly wrong. In Manipur, the mission arrived with both promise and purpose. In 2020-21, the government of India released rupees 120 crore to accelerate progress. The following year, an even more remarkable rupees 481 crore, nearly 4 times more than before. The target was bold, almost audacious: tap water for every rural household by September 2022. At that time, the effort was led by the Public Health Engineering Department, under Minister Losi Diko, whose team carried the responsibility of turning policy into presence and promise into flow. In September 2021, a quiet but determined promise echoed across the Northeast. At a conference of public health engineering ministers in Guwahati, Manipur's Minister Losi Diko declared with conviction, every household in Manipur will receive tap water connection by 2022. This assurance, reported by the Sangai Express on the 17th of September 2021, came during a gathering chaired by Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, attended by senior officials of the Ministry of Jal Shakti and PHED representatives from all northeastern states. In Manipur, the mission drew support from multiple funding streams: rupees 1,043 crore under the Jal Jeevan Mission, rupees 1,538 crore from the non-lapsable Central Pool of Resources under NREAP, and rupees 29 crore under the Swachh Bharat Mission, Gramin. By September 2021, Manipur had reached over 2.37 lakh rural households, 52.6% of its total target, and inaugurated 85 new water supply schemes. Minister Diko acknowledged the challenges of steep hills and difficult terrain, but praised the dedication of PHED engineers working day and night, ensuring that even the remotest villages could soon have clean water flowing at their doorstep. As the Sangai Express captured it, this was more than a government announcement. It was a promise to the people, a belief that progress must reach every home, one tap, one household, one life at a time. The numbers were impressive. Out of Manipur's 5.4 lakh rural households, over 2.3 lakh were reported to have tap connections by late 2021. Multiple funding channels flowed into them: central grants under Jal Jeevan Mission, external loans from development banks, and allocations through local bodies. The machinery was in motion. By the end of 2022, official dashboards proudly displayed coverage nearing 90%. On paper, Manipur's water revolution seemed unstoppable. In March 2022, after the state elections, L. Susindro Singh took charge as the new Minister of Public Health Engineering. Under his watch, the mission entered its most critical phase. But beneath the rising numbers and glowing reports, something else was rising too: questions, doubts, and soon, undeniable proof of betrayal. When the cameras turned away, another picture began to appear. In the hill districts of Senapati, Ukhrul, Chandel, and Tamenglong, there were pipes but no water, taps but no flow. Villages proudly listed as fully covered still fetched water from streams. On government dashboards, the mission looked complete. On the ground, it had barely begun. By 2024, frustration turned into disbelief. Civil society groups compared portal data with field reality, and the gap was impossible to ignore. Villages marked as completed had no functional connection. The numbers looked inflated, the funds exhausted, and the people forgotten. On March 18, 2025, a quiet act of courage began in the hills of Senapati. Social activist R.K. Paul Chawang filed his first RTI request, asking a simple question. Where is the water? 30 days passed. Silence. A second appeal? Still nothing. Another 30 days. Another appeal, this time to the State Information Commissioner. Finally, after months of waiting, the reply arrived. 30 villages, pages of data. And the truth was staggering. Village after village, Lenrul, Oklong Mariram, Lai, all listed as 100% covered, had not a single drop of water flowing through their taps. The RTI had confirmed it. The Jal Jeevan Mission in Manipur had become a paper scheme, built not on pipes and water, but on inflated numbers and false promises. By mid-2025, the silence was broken. In Chandel, civil bodies gathered at the Manipur Press Club and made a stunning declaration. The Jal Jeevan Mission was not just a failure, it was a complete paper scam. Singul Larson Anil, president of the Anil Lenrual Tangpi Maha area, spoke with quiet outrage. Official records claimed 97% coverage in Lenrual village. But in reality, not a single tap worked. The actual work done, he said, is not even 60%. Civil bodies demanded a full ground audit and accused officials of manipulating data, inflating completion rates, and misusing funds meant for the poorest villages. What began as a district grievance had now become a statewide cry. From Senapati to Chandel, the people of Manipur were not just thirsty, they were betrayed. On October 7, 2025, Congress Lok Sabha MP from Inner Manipur, Dr. Angomcha Bimol Akoijam, filed a public interest litigation in the Manipur High Court, alleging a rupees 1,222 crore scam in the Jal Jeevan Mission. According to official records, since 2019, the government of India has sanctioned rupees 1,303 crore for Manipuran, of which nearly rupees 1,222 crore has already been spent. The government also claimed that 3.59 lakh rural households, about 80%, now have tap water connections. But Dr. Bimal called it an assault on the right to life. His petition accused authorities of false reporting, misuse of funds, and cosmetic compliance, where data looked brighter than the truth. Within days, the High Court admitted the case, and the center sought reports from all states. What began as a mission of hope now stands under a cloud of suspicion. From rupees 120 crore grants in 2019 to rupees 1,222 crore allegations in 2025, Manipur's Jal Jeevan story has become a mirror reflecting a deeper national question. Do we measure progress by data on screens or by water in our homes? But then came the pushback. On October 17, 2025, a newspaper article surfaced in Senapati, signed by multiple individuals, attacking R.K. Paul Chawang. Instead of addressing the question, where is the water? They attacked the man who asked it. Paul was labeled politically motivated. His findings were dismissed as baseless. This is the oldest tactic of all. When the system is exposed, attack the messenger. When corruption is revealed, discredit the whistleblower. By signing that statement, these individuals chose to defend falsified reports over families still fetching water from streams. They defended a paper scheme over the people who were promised Har Ghar Jal. For the people of Manipur's hills, the question remains simple. When will water flow? For everyone else, a harder question lingers. Whose fault is it when a promise dries up before it reaches the ground? Every promise begins with good intentions, but sometimes the system fails us. Yet, it's the people who keep hope alive, with resilience and courage. At the Grassroots Lens, we believe stories like these don't just inform, they inspire change. Check back in a few days for our next episode. From crystal clear to muddy brown, who's killing Meghalaya's pride? The Umgat River, also known as the Daki River, only on the Grassroots Lens. Thank you for watching.